Ryan is we will be tonight, you know. He wants to be Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the town of Saratoga. I would like to convene this meeting into open session. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Let's move on to the updates. We'll try to get this as fast as possible. Start with the constable.
Well, I have reports for you. It was quiet month last month, just 3 complaints and then 2 citations that were issued in the bottom.
Did anyone call you in regards to some garbage on the highway today? Okay, we're good. We took care of it, just wanted to make sure.
Could you turn on the mic, please?
It should be on. Who's got to talk?
It's on.
Oh.
Sorry.
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
No, it was way over there and I'm way over here. So I'll try to talk louder. All right, anyone have any questions for Brandon? No? Okay, Brandon, thank you. You're excused if you'd like.
There's a group here.
There's a group?
Yes,
We got a group. All right. I like groups.
yes, it's number 7.
All right, we'll go on to the building inspector, please. Josh?
Yeah, I have a report there. There were 20 permits for the month of September. And then I only added that thing at the bottom, the 10 Mile Avenue rental cabin is done and granted occupancy because someone had questioned it earlier. You had brought it up to me maybe a couple months ago that someone thought someone lived in there. They weren't, and it's all been inspected now, finished. I don't know if you remember that project.
I do, Josh. Actually, I questioned if it was built in the UDC and you reaffirmed that it was, so we're good. Yeah, that's it. Anybody have any questions for Josh? Josh has a brand new puppy. Penny, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing her in, showing her off. If there's no questions for you, Josh, you're welcome to leave also.
Okay.
Moving on to the zoning administrator, Rose.
Hi.
Hi.
There's an application submitted for fence for 1511 State Highway 473.
Yep.
You got it?
The one that I emailed you
Yeah,
about?
mention it.
Yes.
Okay, so that was applied for, and then I am working on a draft and permits.
Okay, for anyone who couldn't hear her, there was a fence application and she's working on a draft for camping. We're doing a camping ordinance. Actually, what happened is we have a mobile home ordinance, an older ordinance, and we're dividing it up to separate the mobile home from the camping. So she's working on that draft for us. I had originally, as the zoning administrator in the interim, had done the mobile home, but we didn't get as far as camping, so now that Rose is here, she's taken over. Thank you. And you too are welcome to leave if you wish. Road to Caston, did you make it?
No, I don't think so.
All right, is it Tom or Doug? All right, I guess we'll get a report from Caston in the next meeting. Plan Commission, Josh?
As far as the planning commission, we are working through the mobile home ordinance. Rose is working on the camping ordinance for us, and we have a zoning ordinance from us tonight. Item number 12.
Yes, sir, finally, right?
Um,
Yeah, so hopefully we get her done.
So I don't believe I have any further updates. I'm fine.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right. Clerk, Paulette, she's very tired.
Kind of rough. But just working on, working on the budget. I'll get yours done. Just been working on the budget and just trying to get everything wrapped up so we can get that approved in time and go from there.
Thank you, Paulette. It's been hard, as many of you know, Paulette's fairly new to the position, so it's a lot of trial and error because we're all fairly new here. So we're all working together to get to a common goal. All right, next in line, treasurer, Billy Joel, please. Yours work.
I'm working, okay. Basically just getting prepped for tax season and, assisting whatever I can with the budget.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We're going to skip the informational announcements for now. There are some people that are here for other things. So we're going to move to a couple items and then come back. Discussion of residents' complaints on 9303 Pine Street. Who is here as the leading person for this? Nobody wants to volunteer?
Probably Judge Mason.
Making a grand entrance, are we?
No. I was hoping that the building inspector was gonna tell me something.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
ready for this?
We are ready.
Okay, it's gonna take a few minutes.
You have a few minutes.
So my name is Jim Mason, and I live at 511 Heath Lane, along with my wife Mary. Across the street from us are these people, Keith
Hello.
Taylor and Scott Stockman. And then
Can you
there
speak
are
into the
other
mic,
neighbors who are
please?
here. All right. So Chris and Heather Martin are here, and so is Dave Brabeck. And so is Goody. So at any rate, we're here because we're concerned about the neighborhood that we're living in, and we're concerned about things that are going wrong in there. And so what I have made is a copy of your ordinance. That's the town building ordinance. And I've made enough copies to go to circulate around everybody who's up here at your table, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not done with stuff for you yet.
Well,
So
I'm
I'm gonna leave that
going
there,
to
okay?
start handing out.
Okay, so if you hand it one way, and four the other.
Can you do this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Thank you, Billy.
I can use
Thank you very
anything
much.
you need me to.
Okay, thanks. So at any rate, on there, what we're talking about here is the ordinance that is number 12.
Yep.
You can see there where it talks about cleanliness. Well, the place is a mess on the outside. It's got vehicles, one that is very tardy in registration with a 19 tag on it, and another one doesn't have any plates on it that's there delivered back from a wreck. And then there is just a mess usually there. Now, the mess can be seen in these photos. There are 8 copies of each one of these photos, so, Billy Joe can help me out again, that would be great.
Well, they are
So,
individual.
yep, so there's a photo of each one of those gift packets, there's one for everybody. So then, as you can see, it's a mess.
I agree.
Now, that mess has been somewhat cleaned up, but that mess, the mess that accumulated there most recently, was a mess that was cleaned up like 4 or 5 years ago at the town board. And
Yeah, I
they-
think it was a $5,000.
Yeah, I think so.
Or-
I think
Am I
I could-
continuing to pass?
Do I need to one?
Am I continuing to pass this around?
Please, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so they go on, and you can actually see the owner of it in one of these photos of 9303 Pine Street. And so as you work your way through those photos, I want to tell you that those were taken in advance of a meeting with you that I thought might occur on September 20th. So they're 3 weeks old. In the interim, some of that stuff that's seen in the driveway got picked up. Some of it did. Some of it got pushed back into the garage or, I don't know, still outside there in a messy form. And after you get a chance to look at those messes, I'll show you what it looked like a couple days ago. Now, I've asked some of our neighbors to come along because we have neighbors living right across the street from that on Heath Lane, and we have neighbors living right next door to it. And I want them to tell you their impressions of what's going on and how it's affected their lives too.
I see you have a house for sale right behind this too.
They'll be here to tell you about it.
Tell you what happened. Yeah,
That's why they're
I can
here.
imagine.
That's why they're here. And so you can see that the ordinance in 12.2 says every building shall be kept reasonably clean and shall also be kept reasonably free from any accumulation of dirt, filth, rubbish, garbage, or other matter in or on or building or in the yards, et cetera, et cetera. But that's in or on the building, and in the building, it's a mess too. Now, the owner of that building can't be here because he's in the jail in Washoe County. When I took that first set of photos that you're looking at right now, you can see him standing there. He saw me taking the photos, asked me what I was going to do with them. I said, I'm going to present them to the town board, and at that time, I thought we would be here on September 20th.
That's all right.
I told him that. I gave him a copy of this ordinance, which he crumpled up and threw down with the rest of the mess in his yard.
That's typical, yes.
All right.
I would agree.
So, okay. Well, there's another thing I want to bring out. Is that, it also says in paragraph 13, violations and penalties, sub A, it shall be unlawful for any person to erect, to use, or to occupy, right? Those premises that are kept like that. Now, there are a couple of witnesses here who can tell you what it's like inside. I've never been inside the building myself. But after they tell you what they have seen inside and the personal observations that they've been able to make, it's going to be a concern whether that person should even be in that building occupying it. Now, it says the town board is responsible to provide for the enforcement of the ordinance. So I'm glad you kept the constable here. He's been over there other times, I'm sure, already for one or another reason. Maybe dogs. The dogs are gone. At least the two dogs that were a matter of concern. This is what it looks like a couple days ago. So, and it still looked like that. Now you can see there are two vehicles really noticeable on there. One is a Suburban, that's with the license tag going back to 19. And then there's the white pickup truck. That white pickup truck is damaged and was just left there. I'm told it was a rollover in an OWI. Don't know that better, except that the man is pending charges. So at any rate, with that information, I would like to ask you to hear from Kate Taylor or Scott Stofflet, and following that by Dave Robick. Dave Robick is here too, and they're going to talk about the inside. But I also want to hear a little bit more about the outside from the neighbors, Chris and Heather Martin. Maybe you better start with the outside first. Let me call them.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You alluded to this being a rental, is that a fact?
All right.
A rental property?
Oh, no, not at all.
This is,
Not at all.
okay,
Actually, the taxes weren't paid and it was forfeited to the county. The county was about to take it and somebody came along and paid the back taxes a year ago.
okay,
So,
okay.
so let me ask, Chris and Heather Martin if they have anything they'd like to add.
So you said somebody came along, paid it back.
Yeah.
This individual came along?
No. Probably the person who could tell you that best of all is Mr. Brodick. Mr. Brodick probably knows the answer to that question. Okay. So, Chris, do you want to say anything?
So my name is Chris Martin. I lived in our house our house is right across the street from, that house, I don't know the exact address. We lived there for 12 years now. When we moved in, it was fine, and then he declined from there. He was bringing stuff home with his lawnmowers, with a trailer, filling his yard up, but then he got in trouble, and then you guys came and cleaned it out the first time. So then this time it happened again. He ran into money, started bringing stuff home. This time he was driving. And nothing's ever happened. His friend is cleaning his yard, so we think. I don't know why he's doing it, but he is. And it's better now, but it's still not good, because once he gets out of jail, he's just gonna do it all over again. So, Dave, you got anything to say? I don't know how much you want to know.
We want to know whatever you guys know. No, please, continue.
I've dealt with Rick for probably 5 years, 6 years.
No, Rick is the owner?
The owner. Yeah, so he has mental issues. So he had severe depression, and he's basically locked himself in the house. He had one dog. And he didn't come out, but other than to feed the dog, he had no electricity, no water. So years and years go by. I dropped off food several times just to see if he was okay. He didn't come out. I mean, you just set it on his door, and then if you see him out walking his dog, I talked to him. Severe mental issues, and was never addressed. Then all of a sudden, he became ill, got bacterial infection in his legs, and he was taken to the hospital, emergency room, and I think he was 2 months in, ICU came out, his dad had passed away, he's got tons of money, and they did him a lot of damage. So then all of a sudden, he was released from the hospital because he punched a nurse. He was left to sit outside his house in a wheelchair, no way to get inside, nothing, basically no care whatsoever. So I helped him, we got him a ramp, he had money, once he got money and he could get in and out of his house, I went in there, and to say disgusting is putting it mildly, food that was piled up with mold all over it. There was more dust and dirt and human fecal remnants all over, bags of it, bags and bags of it. So, I mean, I went in there with mask and cleaned up 3 garbage bags, took a few pictures. I think I showed them to Judge Mason. Unbelievable, disgusting. Unbelievable. And I told him, you can't live like this, try to get him help, try to get him to get people to come in to clean. He said, this isn't bad, this is nice. He heats his house with a Mr. Heater and a huge tank. And he continued to, I guess, tell me how his neighbors cared for him, even though he badgered them, and just terrible. Once he got money and he got his cars running, he had no driver's license, drove around the neighborhood. He went and got 2 dogs. And I guess my question to the board, what exactly is a town constable's duties? Because I don't really know.
Can you tell me
I'm just asking like for the dog issues, because I know all the neighbors were calling about the dogs. Does the constable, Brandon, do you have to go over there?
No, so basically what happens most of the time is I start by issuing a warning letter. So say, I believe it's you that called me, right? Okay, someone call me. I issue a warning letter, and if it's a normal person, a lot of times that takes care of the issue. If it doesn't, I need to build some kind of evidence, whether that's a video or a picture or something. So when I issue that citation, if it goes before a judge in court, we have something to go back on. Otherwise, it's you say your word against Rick's word. That is, my dogs were on my property. Well, you're saying that it's not. So I need something to prove that it's, to back that up. So I've had the complaints with the dogs, but I've never.
What happens if it keeps continuing?
Like, is there an end game here? I mean,
Eventually, yes,
I mean,
if,
the dogs are gone now, thankfully,
Yeah.
but I mean, they were running up into our house.
Isn't there still one there?
There's one.
Still one.
And he's in jail. So that one, from my understanding, is locked in this house, and his one friend will come let it out.
Once a day.
If that, that.
so yes. Throw that in. So back to your question, though. So say we have enough where I can issue several citations for dog at large or barking dog, whatever, and it's clearly the citations aren't doing anything, we can file basically an abatement order like we did with the cleaning. We can file that through the courts, it takes time, and we can take the dogs away.
Well, I think it's also important to know that we've taken the dogs back to him and said, hey, you gotta keep your dogs chained up, you know, we can't, our dog, we take him out on a leash. He goes, well, if I ever saw your dog in my yard, I'd shoot it.
We have 2 puppies. And have our puppies been in any of your yards? Have they bothered you? I mean, it's, if you're gonna get them, you need to take care of them. We literally bought this house a year ago in October. And we already have it up for sale and sold. Our 17-year-old daughter is afraid to be outside when he's around because he'll stand in the backyard and stare at her and try talking to her. As a matter of fact, when we listed our house, our very first couple that came to look at it would have bought our house. They wanted it. However, he met them at the end of the driveway and they knew who he was and we lost that sale. I have a video of his puppies that my son had to take back to his house, and he took a video in the front door that I can show you how nasty it is, just in the front door alone. He's just been a nuisance, the mess. Before his buddy came over and started cleaning everything up, the smell on hot summer days is just disgusting. We couldn't even sit out and have a normal family fire and have friends over without him coming over and just being a nuisance. I feel really guilty selling our house to somebody else knowing that they're gonna have to deal with that as well.
So I guess what I'm hearing from all of you is that there's definitely mental issues going on here.
Oh, for sure.
Has, you being a judge, is it possible to get a wellness check from the county? From the
He
health
has one
department?
scheduled.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I
He
talked
has
to,
one scheduled.
I didn't know about the wellness check, Dave.
There's been people over to the house also.
From the health
He has a
department?
social worker that's been at the residency.
Perfect. Because we can communicate with them. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
There is numerous times I called the Wood County Sheriff's Department on them. And there's a big thing with, I don't know, others really understand this, but they basically said, and the paramedics, I called paramedics for him 2 or 3 times. Because he has such bacterial, his legs were filled with maggots in his legs. I mean, that's how bad it is. But until he would submit
Right,
to a,
right.
so right now, because of all the issues, he has a psychiatric test coming up. But he's been, every time they get him to a test, a date, he gets into trouble, he's in a different jail, he's a different here. And the paramedics, I asked them numerous times, I think I called the paramedics 3 times, just to get him up. Because he'd fallen down and he couldn't get up. He's a large man.
I can
3
see
of us
that.
couldn't get him up. So we had called the Coosa Fire Department and they had to help get him up. He has some serious mental issues.
I understand that.
And in order for him to reside in this residence, somebody, and I don't know who, and it's not the town board necessarily, but somebody has to give him psychiatric care. I had him a counselor who was gonna come for nothing, absolutely nothing, to try to help him, and he refused.
Right, that's his right, yeah.
But when he sees neighbors and they want to him for actually take some accountability, he gets mad, he buys a vehicle, he takes off, he gets drunk, and he rolls it.
Okay,
So, I mean, it's a very difficult situation because, and what I've told Wood County repeatedly, when I've called Wood County Sheriff's Department, he's gonna hurt somebody. He's gonna hurt one of these people sitting in this audience, I'm afraid, because things snap. And he doesn't think nothing. He wouldn't think nothing of shooting somebody. Nothing.
He's been in his front yard shooting his 22 multiple times. We've had to call.
We don't even let our kids play out in the front yard.
Okay, these are concerns that I think the town, I think we can bring to the county ourselves. I think we might have a little more power than you, I'm not sure, but I can definitely, well, I wouldn't count on that because I've dealt with this situation, not in this municipality, but in another municipality. There's only so far you can go. However, the most power that I have found, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the health department at this point would have the most power.
They've been in contact.
Yeah, because, yeah, but they've been contacted by a citizen.
They've been contacted also by, I believe there's a social worker that was involved.
They've been contacted by a social worker.
By a social worker?
Yes,
And law enforcement.
yes.
Can you speak to that, Brian? Sorry, I didn't.
I might have a little intel on this
Okay.
individual also. So Human Services is aware of him and they did have an advocate for him. I did receive a message, a phone call from a concerned citizen of Saratoga also. And I made contact with this advocate personally. She said they would continually go to his house to do an assessment on him. And he would either be gone or he wouldn't come to the door, so they couldn't get an assessment completed at that time. We did make arrangements where we were able to, Sheriff's Department was able to locate him, and assessment was made at that time. I don't know where it went from there, because I think shortly thereafter, he's been incarcerated now for quite some time. I know it is being worked on their end. It is a slow process.
So at this time, he is incarcerated
He is in another county.
in another county? You have can I ask if you have a timeline for that?
I checked today, he's still waiting, he hasn't posted the cash bond of $4,000, which he's required to do in Washoe County. He's being held there, as I understand, a felony warrant for bail jump. But he went there from Clark County, Clark County from Wood County, and I understand Wood County has a pending warrant.
Now we have more warrants for him.
Do you have warrants for him?
Wood County does.
So one of the things that fits in, Madam Chair, with your thinking is the fact that in one of the cases in Wood County, he's required to submit to a competency examination. And that's because that's in the case where he assaulted the nurse at the hospital.
Okay.
So that's been ordered, but as Mr. Crawford was saying, that when that was about to occur, when he was about to be required to submit to that, he ended up being in custody in someplace else, either Washoe County, Clark County, someplace, and so that never got undertaken. But now it is scheduled for hearing in Branch 1 on November 14th. Hearing, so that means that for 2 weeks at least prior to that time, he will be either in Mendota or at Winnebago for that examination.
But it will not be at his residence.
Won't be at his residence then. And if he posts the cash bond, Mr. Kovic knows the information with regard to his financial affairs better than I do for sure. But if he posts the cash bond, then he would get out of Washoe County and then would be subject to that order from Branch 1 requiring him to do the competency examination.
Would county be notified when he is released?
Wood County would be because they have the next pending warrant.
So they could just be there to pick him up?
That's what would happen.
Okay.
I talked to Peter Costenholz, who was Corporation Counsel, a couple of days ago, when I tried to put the activities of this man over the past 6 months into a formulation for somebody who would be subject to what's called 5142 treatment, 5120, so that he could be treated then at a place like Norway. And I put that together and I talked to Peter at length the other day. and went through all the detail, and Peter indicated to me that there were grounds that were properly considered under that statute.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they don't want to do anything as long as he's in custody, and especially as long as he is in custody in another county. They don't have the arrangements, for instance, at the Wood County Jail, if he happened to be in the Wood County Jail, which he's not, and if the Wood County jailer thought that he was acting in a way that was indicating mental illness, together with dangerousness that they could actually point out to him immediately in the jail, that then would cause the jail to rely upon its agreement with Norwood to take him to Norwood. But that's not going to happen. There isn't any petition for emergency detention by any officer, either of the county or anyplace else, as it stands right now. And so the Corporation Council's recommendation was just to sit on it until you can see what happens after this competency examination is concluded. If in fact that comes to court, if in fact he makes himself available, if he isn't in another county on another warrant, and that whatever warrant it is that we would require him to appear at that competency examination is actually executed. One other thing, I talked with planning and zoning, because planning and zoning, I thought, might be concerned about the fact of the inadequate toilet facilities,
Sanitary, yeah.
and the fact that they also had a record of he not having his septic pumped since 2019, and it should be every 3 years. And when I informed the person who happened to be just a reception person, because the person who needs to know that wasn't available until tomorrow.
Okay.
is that there is a concern about that, certainly upon the representations that Mr. Bravik made, and I told him about that, about the defecation that was just found in the house.
I'd like to just address it just a little bit more.
Sure, could you?
A lot of that was discussed. He didn't have electricity or water. So from 2019, 2020, 21, he didn't have any water. So he didn't use the septic. He put it in bags. All this is just sitting in his house in bags.
It is currently, or have?
I mean, it was when I went in there. So you're looking at years and years. I mean, it's no living condition for a dog. When I called Wood County and I asked him just when this was when he was incarcerated, I knew he was. He had a dog, at least one, inside the house. And they said to me, I said that, I mean, I don't want to see a dog die just because a guy goes to jail.
Who takes care of the dog?
This friend of his does now.
Well,
But just finish. Wood County, when I contacted them, they said, we can't go in the house without a search warrant. I don't know. Like, nobody can go in the house to look.
No.
It's difficult for anybody to know what's going on when we can't get in the house to look. Rick's not gonna let anybody in the house because he knows the dog shouldn't even be living there.
Well, that
I mean,
is
it's terrible. I mean, it's just, Rick is not a stupid guy. He's a heck of a mechanic. He's got mental issues. And until that's addressed, and this, I mean, he's probably not the only one in our, Saratoga. And I don't know exactly how to address that, but if you don't, he was telling me that if Wood County cops come to my house, I'm gonna kill one of them. And not thinking nothing of it. So mentally, he's so out of it that you get concerned about your neighbors. And when I called, I repeatedly said, he's gonna hurt somebody, he's gonna hurt somebody. I had Wood County on the phone to dispatcher early in the morning when he was leaving, told him directions and everything else. They never stopped him. He drove around for weeks. And then he got drunk and he rolled his vehicle. Did it again. I don't know what we do with someone like that, because he's gonna hurt somebody. He took and he rammed up into my pine trees at my house and took down 2 of them. If that would have been kids, we'd have 2 dead kids instead of 2 busted pine trees. When he was going through our subdivision in his wheelchair, talking to every resident until I think Brandon, your wife called Wood County, and they came out right away and addressed the situation. He's gonna hurt somebody unless somebody gets on this and mentally corrects his behavior. He doesn't think anything of life or death, he doesn't think anything, it's my way, and if anybody else gets in the way, look out.
I'm wondering how he deals with that friend.
That's he's paying his friend
It's very good.
$20 an hour right now to take care of his dog and clean up his yard and do everything, this other stuff. He got a heck of an inheritance from his dad, passed away.
So he does have the ability to pay his way out of situations? Okay.
And that's my concern right now, is that he'll pay his way out of this, get himself out of that. He'll come back to his house and do the same thing all over again, and it gets worse. Every situation that he's been in since he got released from the hospital has continually gotten worse and worse and worse. He needs to be in psychiatric care. He needs to get an evaluation as soon as possible and get him, he's supposed to be on meds and he hasn't taken them. And he has talked to numerous kids, kids in that neighborhood. Tried to get him in his vehicle. 2 of them he did get in his vehicle.
Being at the bus stop, my granddaughter gets on the bus.
Okay.
Just.
So what the town can do with it, I don't know. My beef right now is more that the county hasn't done anything about it. And he's made a big joke of it.
He has 25 pending charges this year alone.
Brian, is there a way that we can condemn the house? I mean, we can't go inside though, but has the health department been inside? We have to be able to prove that, and we can't do it with pictures and hearsay. I'm sorry. I do believe you, but the legality,
I don't know if they have been inside, like I said, their attempts to go to the residence, he was never home. And when we did have contact with him, I don't think he was in his residence.
Okay.
And then shortly thereafter, I think maybe that day, he got arrested.
Can
The
animal
problem-
control go in and get the dog? I mean, he's been incarcerated for how long?
I don't think they have the right to
Not
enter.
if we
it.
know
Yeah.
that he has care for that animal, I don't think. That's
I
something we could look
haven't seen
into.
anybody there in a couple of days, but that doesn't mean.
To be fair, I think it was back, July? I actually was able to see inside the door, and you don't need to even go in. All you have to do is look in a door, and it will make you question whether you should even be standing in the doorway. I would not be comfortable going inside that house without a hazmat, biohazard suit,
Yeah.
because it is that bad. I mean, it makes you want to throw up just by looking at it.
I've been in places before. Go ahead.
Isn't there a possibility that the county could be called in on a wellness check for the dog?
That's what we're talking about here with the health department. That's what the health
Yeah,
department does.
But a wellness check is a county cop checking on the wellness.
Animal.
We do have a humane officer.
Could it be considered animal cruelty at this point? If they
Don't
should
you have
be
to
able to
prove
get
there's
access?
an animal for them to enter?
Issue is we know that somebody is taking care of that animal. But if we can get it out of there,
He doesn't have intent of harming the animal either, I think.
The hard part is, you know someone's taking care of it, whether it's being taken care of well
Or
is
every
another
day,
question.
maybe only once.
But you
a
know
day.
they're being taken care of, is
So
it
we
being
can-
properly taken care of?
we can have
That's
somebody go over
very
there,
great.
but now we know that. I'm hoping does the dog come to the door, come to the window?
I don't know, I make it a point to avoid it.
Well,
Yes, it does.
It
yeah, the shades are shut and it's a barker. It constantly barks.
So if
you
somebody
can't
opens
hear it
the
barking?
door, yeah.
You can hear it barking? No.
He lost
There you go.
his keys and can't lock the door.
Yeah, but to hear it barking and know that the owner is not there, I think that gives them the right of passage.
When the officer was called, he said he did not have the right to open the door when I called him.
Okay. That answers that.
So,
But with the living conditions considered.
You do not know that. I mean, yes, it's hearsay. I mean, I get
If they
that.
have a video.
I get that, but how do we know that that is the house? I mean, look at it legally, Christie. We're-
I hear you.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I do know,
I think there's a way.
I've been in a couple of hoarding situations, but I don't, can I have, Bill Clendenning had his hand up, could I address him first, please?
I'm on the county board, and I will get Lance Trimble on this and have him call you.
That would be appreciated,
He's a county board chair.
yes.
We've had situations like this, that the police can't do and stuff like that, where he's the chairman of it, and he's also the chairperson of the Wisconsin Counties Association, so I'm sure he can find some, either state or county.
Thank you, that would be much appreciated, Bill. Yes, sir.
I was going to thought that a civil action which the town can bring in enforcement of its statute, of its ordinance right here, has been the way that it's gone about before in order to clean up that property. It had to go to court in order to get an order. And when a complaint is filed in court, it can contain documents which are affidavits in form of immediate action to ask for immediate action to stop the circumstances that are going on.
To
or
stop
to
what?
inform.
Exactly.
To actually enter the place. To actually enter the place can be ordered by a judge on a civil matter of this nature. But you're gonna have to get your town attorney to file a complaint with affidavits such as that from Mr. Brafik, with affidavits, for instance,
Okay,
from
I will contact Nick
from
tomorrow.
Kate. That upon that basis, especially with regard to the feces in the house and
Yeah.
that would be a reason why an immediate order could be granted. It would be done after service of that complaint and that petition for immediate relief upon the defendant, even if he happens to be in Washoe County
So
or any other county or any jail.
So tell me, how does that differ from a hoarding situation? Because I know a hoarding situation, we cannot go in and make them clean up that house.
Well, do you expect that it's going to be a health concern such as this?
A hoarding situation, yes, is
Oh, I
definitely
don't
a
know
health
that, I
concern.
don't know that. Okay, so maybe it is a hoarding, maybe it is equivalent to this, but I don't know. The hoarders then collect feces and keep it there?
No, they slip,
Okay,
they
well,
slip on
I
the
think-
floor and their dishes. I mean, I'm just saying a typical hoarding situation, you can only address it until the owner says, get out. That has been my past experience, but
That might
maybe
be
the
the
laws have
case
changed.
of rentals too, right? It sounds like owners.
No,
said,
these
"Get
were
out."
owners.
So I don't.
I don't know this, but I will definitely follow up on this with Nick. I don't have a problem, and I'm hoping Bill will get back to me, and gentlemen, yes, sir.
And when I called, that's basically what you're saying, the hoarding situation is exactly what they said to me.
Yeah, that's what I
Is that-
thought.
And the paramedics came in twice,
Yeah.
the time where I talked to him and said, and asked him,
Mhm.
you know, he can't live like this, nobody could live in this condition. How he got the bacteria in his legs to begin with was because of the living conditions.
Yep.
He would be scraping his legs with a standing knife, letting the dogs lick his legs until he's got, you know, the same thing. He had a 106-degree temperature the last time they took him away. And if it wasn't for John up here, Bidwell, he probably wouldn't be here. And when he came back, it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And the paramedics, what they said to me is, nothing, we can't do anything about these conditions because he can do this.
It's his house, basically is what they're saying.
Until it begins to come outside of his house.
Yeah, but let's look at it from a different, let me see if I can find a different angle to look at it, and I will definitely pursue this. You guys aren't the only ones that complained, so let me see what different ways we can go about this.
Lorelei, if I
Yes.
could though. So I've already issued the citation to him, and that was the start. I've spoken to Attorney Krishak about it. Basically, the citation was the first step. So his court date is tonight. He's gonna default on it. He's not
Yeah.
there, so he'll be found guilty. What is the board's pleasure on what our next step is? Are we gonna get the ball rolling to at least file for an abatement?
Yes.
Go in and clean this up?
Yeah.
I'll send-
I'm not, I don't wanna speak for the whole board,
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think we should vote on it.
Does
but-
that cleanup just do
The
the
outside.
exterior?
Yes.
I would assume so, but I'll
Well,
speak to
then-
the attorney about it, and I'd like everyone who has firsthand knowledge about the property, I'll leave a piece of paper and a pen, write your name, phone number, and address for me, and I'll get that all to the attorney and see what we can do.
But if we're cleaning up the outside, I mean, according to these pictures, the outside is not that bad anymore. It's the inside that needs to be taken care of because of the smell.
I guess.
Again, you were looking at a house
Yeah, well, that's.
since 2018, I believe, 2019. He didn't have water or electricity.
I know. I know. Would you live in those conditions? No. But there are people who live in mobile homes with big holes in the floor and holes in the ceiling and
Yes.
heating it with a wood stove. And there's nothing we can do about that.
Right.
That's what they want to do. That's how they
exactly
want
what
to
the
live.
paramedic said to me.
Yeah, so, but if we approach it in a different way, I mean, we're all looking at it straightforward, it's not good, it's health conditions, all this. But maybe look at it a different way. Maybe it's affecting the neighborhood because of the value of their home. It's affecting the neighborhood because of their children. It's affecting the neighborhood. I mean, I'm hearing all of this. So let me see if I can find another way to approach this.
I'll just say, for all the
And-
people sitting in this room, I probably know Rick the best. Which, I know good or bad, but he's not a stupid man. And the other thing is, it's a mental issue.
Yes,
He needs to get help.
yeah.
Once he gets help, then everybody here, we could probably work with him. And he could probably be, believe it or not, I think, a decent person, a decent neighbor. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't get it.
Unfortunately, you cannot force him to
Right.
get help. He has to want to get help.
But
And
if he doesn't,
if he doesn't, then
He's
he
gonna hurt
has to
somebody.
be put somewhere where people can help him, because we can't.
and that's why I came here tonight.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't get help, somebody in this room
It's gonna get
probably is gonna get hurt.
Okay. Let us see what we can do. I make no promises, but I will follow through and see what I can accomplish. And please,
Brandon, you're looking for a vote.
you're welcome.
Mars?
I guess wait till we hear from, no,
Okay.
I guess not.
Well, I guess we might as well look at what's there yet too.
Yeah.
I think.
The two vehicles.
Yeah, we need to see what our options are, I guess.
I am gonna say, hold off, let me do some research, give me a week. I mean, I know these guys have been working on it, but nothing happens
Well,
overnight,
no,
I'm sorry.
Even an abatement, we're looking at probably next year before we can go in and clean it, so.
Can we still get names and addresses,
Yeah.
phone
Yeah,
numbers,
please.
emails?
Yeah. Thank you all for bringing this to our attention, and truly, we'll see what we can do. I'm not making any promises, but we do have a lot of contacts out there. So, thank you. All right, have a good night. Oh, yeah. I see him smiling back there.
You're referring to me.
Okay, we're gonna jump ahead, and I'm sorry to do this to everybody out here, but we'll let some of these people go who, just have a few minutes here. So Mark, why don't you come on? Oh, I'm sorry, we're jumping to number 10 for approving the fire and ambulance. Or 11, it's 11.
It's number 11 for the roll call.
It is 11, I'm sorry, it is 11. Come on up here. I marked 10, report moving 10.
So I believe you've all been presented with the contract that was signed by the Rome Town Board.
Yes,
It was presented with no changes from the previous 10-year contract. And was also marked to be retroactive back to the first of this month, so there was no lapse in coverage.
right.
So I get, all we need then is your board's approval, and off we go.
All right, thank you. I need a motion to approve the, Town of Rome, Town of Saratoga Fire Protection and Prevention Agreement. It, lapsed the first day of October. There are no changes in the fee.
And they have agreed to cover us in the interim, that was the second, so they didn't let us go without.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for fire protection.
I have a motion by Chase to approve the town of Rome fire contract with the town of Saratoga. Do I have a second?
Has any wording changed from the previous agreement?
I did not see any. Can you verify that?
Any changes?
There was no change.
Numbers, rate, or anything?
It was unchanged.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Chase and a second by Josh to approve the town of Rome fire protection for 2024. Does this go through 2024?
It's a 10-year contract.
10-year.
So October 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2030.
33. I thought that was a typo. Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Right.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly,
How much is the fee?
it's a percentage of our, I'm sorry, it's a percentage of our equalized value. And it's 0.75%. It's been that way for the last 10 years. So it's one of those things, Barry, that never went up,
Well, it goes up anyways, so imagine.
right?
Whatever taxes go up, it goes up.
Hey, we're trying very hard to hold them down. Don't say that.
I got you, but the state doesn't appear to be anyways.
All right, we got those two things. Is there anybody else that has a specific agenda item? Otherwise, we're just gonna continue with the agenda. All right, let's go on. Informational announcements by board members. Does anybody have anything they wanna speak out about? Ryan?
They all showed up.
Very good. I'm glad to hear they're concerned and I hope we can help them. Josh?
I guess I can add to that. There were more than what showed up. And some of the issues that they were bringing about were criminal issues,
Yes.
but they don't fall. So I'm informing them that if something happens, just to call the sheriff's department, because some issues that they were experiencing are arrestable offenses. Not to say I want to see somebody get in trouble all the time, but the longer I think he's incarcerated, the safer the public is, and I believe the better chance of help he's going
I
to be
agree.
receiving. So
I agree.
I'm hoping this is hopefully the start of getting
Do you think they understood that when they were here?
some.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
The one thing I was wondering about is how come they got away with 22?
Yeah, that one would have been a phone call for me.
I believe that is illegal in the
Residential area,
not just residential, but what do you call it, subdivision?
subdivision?
I don't believe you can just start your firearms in a subdivision.
I agree with you, so I'm not sure what the full circumstance is there, so.
Now, the way they described it was front yard.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Now, I don't know if this is the same one they were talking about, I did hear of an incident there where he had it outside and was waving it around, but wasn't firing it, so. I don't know if that was the same one, I don't know, I can't speak for that.
Do you have anything else, Brian?
No.
Okay.
Sure.
Got it.
No.
Roger?
I've been working a few different avenues with Lorelei Rob-Borski, Sarah James Snyder, and Amy Penn for the CWPP program for our township. We got a grant writing opportunity coming up in the future with Amy Penn to try and get some funds, along with some budgeted funds through the town to help protect our town and our township. talked to Alliant and reiterated with Lorelei and Paulette their support for the town sign, which we're gonna move forward with and have it installed by the end of this year, hopefully. And started the initial budgetary process with the board this evening. And that ends my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Roger, can you give us a little update on that boat landing with the bench for the people out there? I know it's kind of up in the air, but.
Well, as we had referenced to prior, there's a couple solar benches that were ordered through Alliant. They're due to be shipped hopefully this week. One of them is going to be set down at the end of the Wakely Road area. And I've been working with Wisconsin River Power Company supervisor and one of their land real estate agents. And there's some work that needs to be done in that regard. There's a solar bench slated for that area. We had talked to them about trying to, in time, add a handicap dock down there, even a handicap picnic table. Well, as we move forward now, there's some documentation that they want through the town in regards to third-party contractor with a $2 million liability, and it's just gotten a little more work that we need to work through. And so anyway, we're gonna study that document out that they sent to Lorelei and I, and we're gonna seek some help through counsel, town lawyer, and then proceed from there. You know, when you're looking for donations to try and help through our comprehensive plan and our recreational plan, and then they add another form to the process along with another fee for $250. That's where we're gonna do a little more work and study our path out moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Chase? And I'm gonna keep mine really short because I think we want to move on here. So let's move on to the approval of the previous minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 20th.
I have a motion by Chase to approve the town board meeting minutes for September 20th. Do I have a second?
Second minutes that I wasn't attending, so.
No.
I'll second the motion on the minutes.
All right, I have a motion by Chase and a second by Roger. The reason board was hesitant is because there were only 3 of us there. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion passes. All right, moving on.
Where are we? The resolution for the avenue.
Okay, informational and announcement to consider and adopt a preliminary resolution for discontinuance of a portion of Mill Avenue. Holy cow, all right. Everyone remembers when Mill Avenue went straight to the highway and then the highway department came in and they decided to put in this funky curve? Well, we still had part of Mill Avenue out there. And the people that live on that portion did not have legal access onto their property. So we are going to discontinue that portion of Mill Avenue to allow them to have that legal access to their property. It's not going to cost the town anything. They are paying the legal fees. So that's what's going on. And
those fees were already paid in advance.
the fees were paid in advance. Thank you, Paulette. So I need a motion to approve the resolution number 10/4/2023 to, it's a preliminary resolution to discontinue the undeveloped portion of Mill Avenue in the town of Saratoga.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Brian. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
And I have a second by Roger. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Okay, number 8, Dirk and Mary Hazley concrete waiver in Nature's Way. They want to put concrete in the right of way. In Nature's Way, it's a cul-de-sac, it's a little subdivision right off the highway by Branding Iron. I don't know if anybody, you guys, did you go look? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the concrete, waiver for Dirk Hazley, parcel number 1801688.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Josh and a second by Chase to approve the concrete waiver for Dirk and Mary Hazley at 1111 Nature's Way. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes.
Caroline, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
On the fire contract,
Yes, sir.
was it just you and Paulette that signed that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I received some complaints. I'm sorry, I say a lot. I just noticed that. I received some complaints at the last meeting in regards to some properties along the highway that have been partially developed. These, want of a better word, these commercial buildings that have no residents that are being sold to commercial entities for future use. And there are, I received a complaint on one that was sold for a possible bolt slip. And when I went to inspect it, I'd seen that, but before it, there was a house that was used for a commercial business that also doesn't have a business permit. So I contacted both of them. I also contacted Coons RV because they never changed the name to Fatheads, from Fatheads to Coons. And they were the ones that came in and actually presented the business permit for Coons. Also, there was signage location for some temporary flag signs that were on the corner of Hollywood Road and Highway 73 that needed to be moved back. And so they were contacted also. So that's where this came in. So now I need a motion to accept the Coons RV business permit. It was formerly Fatheads.
The business permit was never changed?
No,
There was a permit changed at some level.
it was for a
just
sign.
Just a sign permit?
It was a sign change, yes.
How could they run like that then?
They did it without probably knowing that here in Saratoga, they needed to change the name so that we legally had their business name. They were running under Fatheads. So it's just basically a name
But
change.
this is, you ain't got an address here, so this is for Highway 13.
Yes, it's 8410 Highway 13.
Make a motion to approve the business permit.
I'll second.
8410 State Highway 13.
I have a motion by Chase and a second by Josh to approve the business permit for Coons RV in Rapids. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Okay, motion passes. Okay, are we, approve the fire and ambulance loan?
Yeah, we skip, or, oh, no, that's. Yeah, so the fire and ambulance loan from the Coosa Port Edward State Bank at 5.39% interest. Estimated payoff is 6 months after after we do the tax collection. The total will be $369,736.49 plus interest for the ambulance and fire loan that we need to take out. And I take that out, in December. We did have a resolution, typed up, Paulette did, but it's not on the agenda, and I think the best thing to do is wait till the next board meeting to approve the resolution. But it's okay to approve the loan tonight. That is something that I provide to.
Now, explain to me what's the difference between resolution and
Contract.
the approving of the loan?
Well, the resolution is the documentation that we have, and there's it's noted on there, all the yays and the nays. I don't know.
So if we approve it, all we have to do is note it for the approval for next meeting. It's just gonna be a like 2-minute ditty.
Is that the resolution right there?
Yes.
I mean,
So it
you can
gives the
look at
amount.
this, Chase, I mean, it's the formal.
We should be saying this.
So just so you know, every year we have to approve the fire and ambulance loan. We take out the loan before our tax revenues come in so that we can pay it back. And that's what we are doing here, approving the loan for the amount that we know that we are going to have to pay for fire and ambulance coverage. And I think everybody was here when they found out that our ambulance like tripled. But our fire remained the same.
When is it due, Billy Joe? Pretty soon?
Well, they prepare the paperwork and then we have to sign it. Not the whole board doesn't have to sign it, but this way, the bank is already preparing that paperwork. So this is just how we've always done it.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the loan.
Because that, I have to, once that's typed up, then I have to give that to actually the Nacusa Bank.
Well, this is something that's needed, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve a loan for the fire and ambulance.
At a
For
price of-
2023 at a price of $369,736.49.
And just to let everybody know, that gets paid back when we get our taxes. Okay, so Chase made a motion to approve the loan for $369,736.49 for 2023 in October. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Josh. All those in favor?
Discussion. Is there
A discussion?
interest on this loan or?
Yes.
I mentioned it, 5.39%.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a $500 bank charge for the loan. That's what-
And addition.
On to pay it off.
Correct.
Okay, no more discussion.
Thank you, Brian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. All right, now let's get to the big item on the list. All right, I typed it up, finally got it done, and then I made some mistakes. Oh,
I
Rob,
got one question. Can we back up to the business
no,
purpose you guys
well,
brought?
no, well, that's, no, but,
And has Dock Masters has submitted a business?
No.
permit?
no, they were one on my list and they have not at this time yet.
Okay.
Thanks, yeah. Nope, I have the list here and that was one of them that did not.
And if so, if it is a business in the highway commercial business area, does it have to have a septic system? Does it have to have a bathroom? Does it have to have, lighting?
It depends. It depends on what they're doing there. I mean, that's should be included in their business plan, which I told them that they had to present to the town. Yeah. That's it.
Are they operating as business?
Not yet. I didn't see anything going on there. You're talking about that empty building with the sign above the door?
No, it's the Dock place across from, B&B Rentals.
With the
Oh, that's the one with the house?
With the Dock advertisement above the door?
Okay, that's, and yeah, they did not get back to me. And on the door, it says that you have to call that number, that you don't do business there, you call a number. So I don't know if they're storing stuff there and then you meet them there or how it works. But I did call the number and left a message. The one before them is actually from Power Pack in Marshfield. That's who's running that house. Whatever they're selling out of that house, that business is there, that white house. And they haven't contacted me either. So I am following up on that.
Is there a Is there a fine in the town for?
No, no, there is not. We just hounded them to death. And also these storage buildings, these Saratoga Storage, they also do not have a business permit, so they were the third one on the list, if you're keeping track. Okay, all right, let's move on to this. So, the zoning ordinance. I know everybody likes the first page, it's really pretty, there's better be no discussion on that. I did send this off again to Nick to get a final, how does it look to you, Nick? And also, after I went through it, I noticed, since we're gonna have so many non-conforming things in this ordinance, is our non-conforming sentence okay? Or our little ditty in there? And he said no, because it's only applying it to structures, and he said, being that we're doing lots and driveways and other things that are gonna be non-conforming, he thinks that we should expand on that a little bit. So he did change a paragraph, which I can adjust. And I did ask him to review the crypto mining, because all we had in there was a definition, and he thought what we put in there was fine. So, as you go through the booklet, I did send out to the Plan Commission, as requested, a list of items that got changed that I found that were incorrect, along with the list that Gordy had presented the Plan Commission with the updates. So at this time, I would entertain a motion from the board. Oh, where were you? I didn't know you were gone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so intent on this that I didn't notice. Oh, that's bad. All right. So, I would entertain a motion, and then we can discuss anything you want to discuss, board.
What can we discuss
And-
a little first?
Yeah, and I will mention that I did put it out there, if anybody had any issues with it, that they should email me and Paulette, copy Paulette, so that everything was above board and everybody knew that I had gotten them. And I received absolutely zero. So I know that I put a couple graphs on page 31 and 32. They're the same graph, I caught that. And there's a few other little things in there. One graph I really had wrong, so I had to go back and change that. But I went back through, I'm gonna stand, I'm sorry, my hips hurt. I went through all of the paperwork that was done at the Plan Commission level, from all the issues that had come forward, and I think I got everything that had been asked for. And this is a recommendation from the Plan Commission, and it is at the board level now. So I do need a motion from the board, one way or another, but I do hope that the board did see that letter from our attorney today about the non-conforming new paragraph.
Can I ask a question? So this, the chairman, you said Gordy read this?
Yes.
The Plan Commission members, they had time to look at this?
Yep, it's been online for 3 weeks? 2 to 3 weeks, it's the new ordinance. Yeah, as soon as I got it out, yeah.
Okay, then you took it through Nick, he didn't find anything other than what's referenced here in this?
Right, and truly, I told Nick to look it over, and then I asked him to zone in on the non-conforming and the cryptocurrency, because those were the two things that I know are gonna come into play a lot because of the changes that we made.
Other than what is on here as far as corrected that I noticed.
And there was,
Thank you. Other than what is on this list that is corrected that I noticed, from attending the planning commission meeting, the residential floor area minimum
235,
Drops down to 235,
right?
to reflect the building code.
Yes,
We want to actually put a footage there and not
a percentage.
just see building codes.
Yeah, I would leave it there.
Okay.
What page are you referring to?
It's
Well,
reflected throughout the whole ordinance, the
there's-
235 square footage,
Yeah,
that's the minimum
there's
square
several different
footage.
spots. There's, page 21. It's on page 20, on page,
That's a reflection upon the actual building code in the town of Saratoga.
yeah.
So we have a minimum, you need a bathroom, a bedroom, a walking area. We determined it to be approximately 235 feet, that's where that came from.
Right. No, that's in the standards for RS1, RR1.
Right, it should be anywhere there's a residence.
Yes.
I will bring forward that one of the things that it does say in here quite often is refer to our land division ordinance, which we do not have, but we are currently working on in the zoning. And at this point, we would defer to the county, which we have always done.
Yeah, and that's in the RP
Right.
preservation as well.
Right,
I'm fine with it being in there, it's just if we ever change our building code, that would have to change across there. as well,
Absolutely.
too. So,
absolutely. Yeah,
the idea was to make sure that's standard between the two.
right.
That was based off of what we figured is minimum square footage.
That's based off our building code that we have existing. The building code, not the zoning code. So we want them to play nice
Of
together.
everything that's required in a house.
Yes. That's a minimum.
I think that was one of the only square footages we left in there. Everything else was percentage of parcel.
I think other than what you have already kind of corrected yourself, that's,
All right, and I know there's some plan commission members out there. Did you guys look through it and see anything?
I just put a bunch of batteries in the mic, so.
Christie's got the fine tooth comb, so.
Yeah. And congratulations on your new business, Christy, by the way.
Thanks. I was just talking to Rob about what Chase had said. I almost thought that we did state that we were going to reference the state building code, so we wouldn't have to go back and change it. But we can't remember exactly if that's one of our changes or not.
well, that's kind of what I had thought it was, to reference the building code rather than state it in the actual footage, but I'm not fine doing either direction.
I can double check Billy Joe's notes too.
You know, that
Because
way-
both of us made notes.
That way, if you change the building code, you don't have to go back and change this as well.
That's kind of.
Yeah, I know that's what we were working with, but I don't,
So I'm fine if we go back and change
I can
those
look.
references to just reference building code, or if we approve it the way it is, we can do either.
I know it was discussed, I don't exactly remember 100% what was
Do you
finally
remember
decided
that?
on, so I can't.
Either way, at the moment, it's the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's down the code, which one makes it easier to name it.
Okay.
I know what I want.
You want to what,
I
talk?
want to make a motion to adopt the zoning ordinance.
Okay, I have a motion to adopt the zoning ordinance as presented with the non-conforming lot change.
I will second that.
Yes.
And do you want me to change that 235 square feet? No, leave it, okay. Okay, I have a motion by Josh and a second by Chase to adopt the zoning ordinance as it stands. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, is there a discussion? Between the board?
We're adopting these changes.
Yes, with the, I'm sorry. And adding the verbiage from, or changing the verbiage from the attorney for the, addressing the non-conforming lots. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Aye. All right, motion passes. We have a new zoning ordinance. And just because I said no does not mean I will not enforce it. Just so everybody knows. All right,
Quick question on that, Lorelei.
sure.
It now goes to the county, correct?
It now goes to the county, yes.
So do we not follow that ordinance until it passes?
Until it passes the county and it comes back here and we, yeah,
Okay.
and we put it on our books, right?
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. All right, now moving on to long and short-term disability discussion. That would be you, Billy Joe. I gave her this job, and this has been a trial, to try to find short and long-term disability for just a few people was really hard.
Everyone has a nice little packet there of different things, and it's actually Aflac, because all the other places that I've called, 4 different places I believe it was, one only did work with Medicare, another one you had to have 20 or more employees, the other one we didn't qualify for another reason, so this Aflac, they do require 3 employees or more. So technically, we have 2 full-time and 1 part-time. So whether, I realize the part-time person doesn't have the option of health insurance.
Benefits.
Or benefits, but possibly the fact that he's employed and then he could pay for the Aflac in full, possibly, because he doesn't have benefits, that would qualify us for the 3. But the very top one that I did put on there is the short-term disability. So you can all look through that. And it kind of gives some pricing in there, obviously based by age, based by what your, the wages are, for that particular employee. And then they have other options here too to look at, including like the dental and vision. Currently, the dental we do have with our health insurance. The vision, we have 1 employee that actually purchases vision externally on his own. So, and they pay that 100% on their own. So that, you have that option as an employer too, that they pay some of the fee, certain fees or whatever, 100%, you could pay a percentage of a different thing. So if you offered them the short term, they couldn't tell me the numbers for the long-term disability because apparently that has to be quoted from another source from Aflac, so that will take some time for them to get the quote for long-term.
Have we by any chance look into whether we could tie into the county at all or anything? I know there's possibilities of sometimes sharing benefits at a county level.
I didn't know that you had that ability to do that. And here we just talked to HR today.
I did. We can check onto that one.
Yeah, that I didn't even know.
It might be worth checking into. I know of in some other cases, that's been actually a
Oh, I know like
possibility.
Grand Rapids is union, so that would be out. County's not, correct?
No.
You can try it.
I don't know that it's a possibility, but sometimes you can pool resources a bit for those type of things.
I mean, it's through,
Let's try it. We'll
It
keep
is.
checking.
I
I'm
know.
sorry, Sheldon.
I know in some cases, different organizations, there's a state consortium that you can join that'll give you that authority to do
Well, and
that
with this,
power.
I mean, wouldn't you think the
Similar, yeah.
state would,
Oh, that's a good idea.
because the state, the one
It's
used to
similar
have
to
it,
like the
and now.
retirement, state retirement you let you get into. Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but there's the state retirement program, but there's also a consortium that anybody within the state can join. In some cases, I don't know.
For short and long-term disability?
Yes, yeah. It just gives you the ability, if you don't have enough employees or for whatever reason, you can join.
Who did we talk to? Do you know?
I'd have to check. I know, when I was on the Board of Education, we looked into that. So.
Okay.
And that was a long time ago, so I don't know if that's.
Talk to the
still
Towns
exists.
Association too. and see
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
know.
You're so old, it had to be.
Like I say, I don't know if it even still exists or not, but I know the possibility of that.
Well, anywhere we can look at, because we know that Aflac is very, it's not expensive initially, but it just
Yeah,
keeps,
it's gonna be expensive.
yeah,
Well, anywhere where we can get that pool beyond a 3-employee
yeah.
pool.
I don't see that this reflects, as long as you have the 3, the pricing difference isn't gonna be, you don't get cheaper. I don't see that you get cheaper the more employees you have.
Right.
So, I mean.
No.
As long as if this is something that you wanted to work with and it was comfortable in pricing, by all means, I'll check into the other stuff too, because the options are great to have more than one, because everyone I call, we don't qualify for it.
Right.
So by all means, I'll definitely would love the information and we'll see if we can track something down for them.
I'll see if I can get something too.
But if anything, I mean, is there any, once you decide, I mean, I'd like to still share this with, our
Yeah.
road crew, because they can do something like this on their own, even if the town does not.
Well, is this something where we're looking at cost to the town, or is this something we're looking at, this is a
I
total
asked-
cost on the crew?
I asked her to look into it so that if we hire people, that we have more to offer them than just money. Because when we hire people, we gotta have, you know, we're kind of a small municipality, we can't pay the big bucks like everybody else does. So let's offer them the ability to get Aflac at this price, or to get, you know, they get uniforms, you know, it's the little perks that a person goes after.
Most employers do have a short-term or a long-term disability as part of their employment, we don't have that. If they get hurt off the job, they literally get nothing.
Well, most employers have like Aflac that they come in and bring in, but you can actually get Aflac no matter who you are. It's not a,
Well, correct.
any,
We're looking at this for a town unless the board opts against it.
but even if your employer doesn't offer Aflac,
Well, right,
you can go as an individual, call them up and
absolutely.
say that you'd like it, and
Mhm.
they'll offer an individual policy.
Absolutely.
You know, it's kind of it's a strange, it's not, it's almost like
Actually, the
it's,
city of Nacusa offers Aflac
yeah,
to their employees.
Yeah, there you go.
right.
Yeah,
A lot
I
of times
contacted the
there's-
treasurer, Bobby, and that's what she shared that with me.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yes, Roger?
So what do they offer then, like say with the short-term disabilities, at like a percentage? You know, 56% of their wages, maybe up to
Oh, you're talking Aflac?
6 months, I guess, yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to look in here, from what I'm looking at here, you have different options, they call them different series.
Right.
And how many days you would be off and before it kicks in, so I don't know if it's something that you have to. Each employee can pick which one they want and pay a higher premium, so they literally just dropped this paperwork off to us yesterday, Aflac did.
You know, because some of your businesses, you know, they'll pay up to, on the short-term disability out of a benefit
Like
package.
70 or 80%, something like that.
Well, one of the places that I know, there was 56% of your wages based on 40 hours up to 6 months. And then after that, you know, your long-term disability would kick in, but the long-term disability, then we had to pay for that premium out of our pocket. So, you know, township's a little different, but it'd probably be worth, you know, looking at and considering to all your employees here and provide them with some benefits in that regard.
Roger, I was just kind of thumbing through here, I saw 80%.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was
A lot of times it depends on what level you buy in at.
Yeah.
I remember we used to have Aflac, and it depended on the level you bought in at.
Jason, actually, I'm looking at this and he actually said, Aflac requires 3 employees or elected officials to participate in some type of the Aflac product to open a group.
So they have to participate.
Requires 3 employees or elected officials.
Okay.
To join.
So, say,
We have questions for him and I will write them down.
but that means that we have to have them participate. Correct? We can't just
It says-
offer it to the 3.
It says requires 3 employees to participate in some type of Aflac product to open a group. After that, no minimum.
So three people have to participate in one of these.
That tells me we would almost have to pay for some portion of something to make sure we are into it, to even offer it at all. Because,
Oh, to give them, I see, to give them.
because otherwise, if one of these guys refuses it because they don't want to buy into it, We can't offer it, period, because we don't have 3 people.
And he's stating here, 3 or more to open it, and then I suppose in case you change an employee and it goes down to 2, they said there's no minimum then, but that first 3 opens it.
Well,
I'm gonna guess we're gonna have to
Maintain,
continually have 3.
maintain.
I'm thinking we have to have a minimum of 3 going all the time. So,
Yeah, Sheldon?
That's true. The other thing, don't be surprised if you find that you could self-insure, offer a benefit like that, paying cash out of the town rather than having Aflac. If you're just looking at the short term, so you don't have a great
No.
liability, you can have something for a longer term.
Oh,
But on the short term, just pay it off of the town cost.
wow, I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like a savings account, like a,
now all we would have to do is have an Aflac policy, right?
What's
We
that?
just have to have an Aflac policy, it doesn't have to be
Yes.
short-term disability.
Correct.
So if we offered a term life, because term life usually is a fairly cheap policy. We offer a term life for benefit of a certain amount. And then we offer the short-term disability to them as an option. We could offer the term life as a benefit.
And I actually have this gentleman's name and phone number here that, I mean, is it something that you think you'd like to meet with him?
I think we need to we would
let's
need to
read
understand
this.
what we have to guarantee.
Okay.
And yeah, I think we would have to kind of meet. And I do think, my understanding right now is that we are going to have to almost pay for a policy for our 3 employees to guarantee that we are going to be able to offer. And whether that's just doing a term life policy for each of our employees to make sure they have something, then that'd be fine, whatever. But,
Okay.
you know, we have to do something.
We can check into that. Anybody else have, yes?
What does the town currently do for long-term disability?
We have.
There's no
we
short or
have-
long term.
We have nothing. We offer nothing except health insurance. All right. Any other discussion, board? All right. All right, and then going to the operator's license, do we have any? We're good. Oh, that's great news. Public input. Public is out there. Yes, sir.
I just want to say thank you guys so very much for finding us some ordinances in this township. We have waited for years and years and years to have some real rules of land, properties. I know it's a long, long time coming. And thank you guys all very much.
You're welcome.
Not everybody's going to agree with it, but at the same time, we do need some rules and say, well,
Well, that is true, and we actually did have a zoning ordinance. This is just,
of sorts.
yeah. Well, yep. All right, thank you. Bruce, I should have known. I like you every week, Bruce.
As long as it's something good to see.
Just a reminder, I would ask that once you or anybody else finds out when the board, the county board is actually gonna take up the ordinance, that we get alerted somehow, because it certainly would help.
Okay. I'm gonna send it over tomorrow, so I don't know.
But we gotta know one way or another whether it's on the agenda or not.
Okay.
Because it pays to show up.
Yeah, they will, so they'll do the same thing we did with the zoning ordinance. So they adopt it, but in talking to, in talking to planning and zoning, he said as long as it's, Jason, thank you, as long as it's not, real funky, they'll pass it. And I have showed it to Jason. I asked him for guidance actually along the way. So I don't know that there will be much pushback from the county. We'll see. but I don't see that happening. But it will get sent over there tomorrow, we'll see. We'll give them a chance. I just have to add that conforming in there in the morning. Can you remind me of that? All right. Public input, any other public input? Yes,
Quick question about the garbage.
Yes, Carl.
The big bins and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Okay.
Going to happen?
It is going to happen. We have no choice in that, no matter what, garbage disposal place that we were going to hire, they all have the bins. I know it's gonna be a pain and, you know, actually, I think it's gonna be a pain for me too, and my driveway's like from here to the park. But I think it's gonna be a pain in the wintertime for the women or even older people hauling that out there by the road and getting it close enough that the truck can pick it up without getting it in a snowbank, I mean, I can see the difficulties, but I guess we're just gonna have to work through it, see what happens, because we didn't have a recourse.
Do you have to buy it yet?
No, they don't, you don't buy them, they give them to
They
you.
provide the bins.
Yeah,
No extra.
no, it is not optional.
And if they get broke, they'll replace them.
Yeah, and your recyclables, they're giving you two actually, one for your recyclables and one for your regular, and your recyclables only go out every other week, and, yeah, it's coming. But, yeah, we really didn't have a choice. We chose the one we knew and the one that we can afford, and that's kind of how we got where we are.
Right now, I do have one of the bins.
Yes.
And I roll out the driveway. He's got a lift on that truck right now that doesn't.
See, the guy who picks up my garbage doesn't, not at all.
He just rolls it up to the front of the truck and it's pinned aside.
Yeah, no.
The new ones, they don't even get out of their vehicle though.
Right.
Yeah, I know I have an old truck, because he always leaves oil in front of my driveway. Just
What's gonna
saying.
happen, when you got, these trails and.
I don't know.
You got 10 dumpsters right out there.
Well, it's the same thing, even on my road, I live in Ranger Road, and even there, we have a trail right off the corner, and there's always this big pile of garbage like that table. I mean, it's just garbage bags, there's not even containers. So now I'm wondering how many containers are gonna be there, and the truck is supposed to pull up to them and lift them. So now if there's 10 of them, do they have to be lined up this way so that he can just, you know? So I don't know, and then that'll block the driveway. So we will find out. Yes, Sheldon?
That's the way the village of Port Edwards is set up, everybody's
Yeah.
got the same bins and it works great. One thing that really pisses me off at Saratoga is I can follow the garbage truck down 10 Mile Avenue or down Z, and they're dumping more garbage than they're picking up. And boy,
You
does
know,
that piss me off.
I pick it up on my yard.
Pick it up every week. So,
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit of a hassle to start with, but it'll help a lot. It really will.
So these new trucks will prevent that more?
Yes, yeah,
So-
yeah, because they're picking up stuff like Carl was mentioning, they're picking up stuff, it's all non-uniform containers and everything, and half of the stuff dumping out.
Yeah.
Where with the designated containers, everyone is exactly the same. And that's the whole key to uniformity and getting that where it's efficient. And it works good, so. Like I say, I know, I understand the concerns, but if it saves dumping garbage up and down every road, it's
Yeah.
worth it.
And I do have that stretch after my house where it's an open field. So I'm constantly going out there picking up pop bottles and condoms and everything else that happens to be down there. I'm sorry, but that is a fact. And, okay. That being said, I'm sorry I brought it up. Yes.
So they're gonna give you the one garbage, one recyclables every 2 weeks. If the bin gets busted, as long as you haven't abused it, they'll replace it right away. A lot of neighbors, they'll leave the bins right out by the road, tucked off the edge of the driveway or something, and drag their, recyclables and garbage out there. So hopefully it works well. Like I said, we went with the cheaper of the two, but we couldn't get away from, the system, so.
I'm just looking for the expense to the landowners.
Yeah, I'm looking at the I'm looking at the snow piles. Where are we gonna put them? That's what I'm looking at.
And we did take 2 bids on it for the first time, and we did actually take the cheaper option, and both were offering bids. There was no getting away from it either way.
They were nice if you could use them good, but I'm worried about the, like I said, the trails and stuff.
Yeah, it's the trails that concern me. You are absolutely correct. That is a concern.
What is the cost?
wasn't it 1035? Correct?
14,
14 something?
1435 a month,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And I think we're currently at 10 something.
No, that's ambulance.
Okay, so I'm really wrong. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's me.
1270 roughly right now.
1270 and we're going to 14. Okay, Rob.
Back to the garbage now, it would be up to the garbage company to decide where the people are gonna put their garbage cans, or the town is.
They just won't pick it up, I think, if it's not in the right area.
But I mean, the
I mean, that would be-
township has no.
Nope.
You're not
Nope.
gonna say to the
Nope.
townspeople, hey,
Nope.
they have, okay.
We're not doing the work, so we can't complain.
I believe they're gonna, when they drop off the garbage cans, they're gonna have an informational flyer attached to them to tell you where you're supposed to put it in relation to the road. That's what they've said anyways.
But the town, you guys are, nothing to do.
No,
That's good.
yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you know how big these bins are? They're big.
I think
They're
it's
like-
a 95.
They're like here.
96 gallon.
They're like up to here on me. I mean, they got wheels and handles and that's actually my concern, but, I guess I'll have to get tougher here. All right, any other comments? Okay, let's go on. Let's pay the town bills. How's that sound?
I'll make a motion to pay bills.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to pay bills. Any questions? All those in favor? All right, those against? Okay, motion passes. I'm putting on my John Henry and Chief. It's up here. All right, items for future meetings. Okay, so coming from the Plan Commission, we're gonna be entertaining a mobile home ordinance, camper ordinance, a land division ordinance.
Driveway.
I'm hoping that's in the land division. Are you gonna make it a separate?
Be together, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's in the land division. And then, on the other side of the coin, we're gonna be looking at, we have out now, bids for the sign. So if anybody wants to see what the potential sign will look like, I have a picture of it up here that will go out in the front of the building, hopefully. And that won't happen, the soonest they can do this is December, to start digging. What else we got going on, guys? Oh, the house, the old town hall. So we are working with Wakely in regards to maybe preserving the old town hall and moving it over to the Wakely. And at first, we were gonna try to move it, or whoever, we were all going to try to move it in one entity, but we found that it costs so much to do that because the electric company actually wants to take the power lines down and then put them back up. And so in talking to Michael from Alliant the other day, it was, so far, he had 11 trucks with 11 crews for one day. And yeah, we're paying for them 8 hours for each crew. I said, stop it. I said, that's just way too much. I said, we'll figure out something else. So I have talked to another company, Bo, and I can't remember their last name, but I met them over there yesterday. And we talked about panelizing it. So that means taking the roof off and then possibly taking it over in 2 sections and then put it back on a foundation. And we're good to go. No power lines or nothing. And they're gonna give us a bid on that for Wakely and the town and see what the idea behind that is, if we can help in any way. What else going forward? What are we working on, ladies? Can you think of anything?
Budget.
Oh, yeah, we're working on the budget. All right, that's enough to be said about that.
You know, the one thing, Laurel, I referenced the budget, I don't think we had any discussion on the recreation line item.
We did not. I did call on you too, out there. No, we are very, very much in the preliminary. We were just making our wish list tonight. So, I'm sure some of our wishes aren't even on there. especially in regards to recreation, because we really couldn't come up with anything yet. So once we figure it out, we'll keep that in mind. I don't. Yeah, we will, yeah. Paulette's been working extremely hard trying to get this information together for us. You guys all know that she's fairly new, so it's kind of a double hard task for her because she's learning as she's doing it. And Billy Joe has been coming in and helping. I mean, everybody's hands-on. Everybody is really, really great to work with there. So I guess that being said, I would entertain a motion to set a date.
October 18th.
October 18th.
Second.
Okay, we have a date of October 18th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
A motion to adjourn from Roger, a second from Brian. All those in favor? Aye. Those against? Okay, it passes. We're done.